Hey, hello, welcome. Another show. I'm going to step away for 1 second, shut my door here real quick to my office. It's that kind of a show where we're mayhem and crazy and just doing stuff impromptu and off schedule. So thank you for giving me a second to do that. Shut my office door. I record the show Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. That's me, Mike Hobbs. You're listening to the show. We talk about all things mortgage related, real estate related, legal. We've had attorneys on the show. And anything else. Today, the title of the show is Mortgages and Raw Fish. Yeah. And you'll notice over here, if you are watching the video, if you're listening to us on Spotify or iHeartRadio, where you can find us, you can't see my hand gestures, but I am gesturing to my left. The seat to me is vacant. We have no one except for my imaginary friend. And he will be joining us shortly. He will materialize as a human being. And he has some great things to do. And he's bringing in the other part of the show, or the definition of the title of the show, which is raw fish. He is a master sushi chef. It's hard to say that really quick. A sushi chef. I start slurring my words there. But he'll be here in a minute. It's Isaac Cunnington, and he's with My Sushi Sensei, and he's going to be here in just a second. There's some bad weather here in Coeur d'Alene. It's been snowy, rainy, and sloshy and overcast the last few days, and so I'm sure that's keeping him from arriving here on time. So hopefully we'll get him in a few minutes. Anyway, as I said, I'm Mike Hobbs. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Mortgage Madness. It's a derivative here of a show that was done 20 some years ago. Back, I think we started in 96, and it was a Mortgage Madness. It was a radio show that ran for almost 10 years on the radio, and it was consumer advocacy based. I did that with an old partner for, like I say, almost 10 years. And consumer advocacy, we would jump on the phone and do things to help people, make calls, do things. There it is, it's up on the screen, Mortgage Madness, live radio show. But we would help consumers in need. The impetus for that show back in the day was a gal came flopping into my office. We were in a big, tall building. I think it was 18-story building. We were in the bottom floor in the lobby. We had glass there. Come on in. Here he is. The Sushi Sensei is here. He's going to dress over here in the corner. I was telling him we're doing this real impromptu. It's a little hectic in the weather. It's a new year, so we're doing things a little differently. But as he's dressing, I'll continue on the story. So she came flopping into the couch. It was in my lobby on the glass front of this storefront that was down at the bottom and near the elevators, in a high rise. And it was my office. She kept flopping in. She spoke Spanish. I didn't speak it well enough to understand what was going on, but she was in distress. Long story short, she was being ripped off by her agent and her agent's, or I should say, and her loan officer, who happened to be the agent's sister. So they were in cahoots, and they were charging her an extra 10 grand. Now, this is going back to 96, 95, 96, a long time ago. And they were charging her too much. And I got on the phone and talked to the loan officer, trying to figure out why things had changed. And this is before all the regulations in our mortgage industry. And so there was no accountability for it, nothing you could really do. And consumers were taken advantage of, and she was being taken advantage of. He told me to flip me the bird over the phone, and told me to go pound sand. So it was the impetus for me to say, there's got to be a way for us to get information out to consumers, homeowners, home buyers, sellers, you name it, anyone that's a layperson that's looking for someone in a fiduciary situation to help them. There's got to be a way to hold them accountable to that fiduciary. And there just wasn't any way, because again, we didn't have any regulation to protect people. You didn't have anybody you could call. You couldn't go to the agencies. And so my answer was, let's do a show. Let's do a consumer advocacy show and make that happen. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Come on into the studio. Come on in.
Drum roll, please.
Woo!
Exceptionally late.
It's okay.
This is for you, my friends.
Ooh, cool.
This is your very own.
I like
My
it.
Sushi Sensei
How do I
headband.
do this? You're going to have to help me. What do I do?
Yep, you gotta. All right, yep.
Like this? Am I
Yep,
doing it right?
take your ends here,
Take this right here.
and then yep, you got your logo.
There
Logo
it
goes
is.
on your
And
forehead.
I do it like this. Okay, I'm putting, tell them what I'm doing for those that are not
brilliant.
watching, that can only listen.
So Mike right now is donning his My Sushi Sensei headband. It is one of a kind, devilishly soft, but keeps the hair out of your eyes.
It is really nice.
Keeps the sweat off your brow, and you look fantastic doing it.
And we have lots of studio lights in here, so it's going to create a lot of sweaty atmosphere with the heat coming off. How's that look? Does that look okay?
Fantastic.
Should I go over my ears a little more?
I think you should be a model for my
You should be a model for your sushi garb.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it here.
Well, thank you. Well, we've got Isaac's information up there. Isaac Cunnington. He's with My Sushi Sensei, and that's the right phone number for you, is it not?
That is correct.
Excellent. So you can reach him there. And I was just telling everyone, leading into the origin or talking about the origin of the show, which is the Mortgage Match Show, which are on with Mike Hobbs, and now with Isaac Cunnington, was that issue. We're trying to help people out. And so really my background is, and you know this, we've spent time talking and we've broken bread, that I'm really passionate about being a consumer advocate, solving a problem, helping people. Those are the disadvantaged that don't know where to go. And we're going to talk about some stories. We're going to get into the mortgage part of the show and talk a little bit about some stories that occurred this week. But I want to talk about you because the show title is Mortgage and Raw Fish. And
I read that and I was like, all right, let's do it.
We're gonna do it. So you are a sushi sensei, and you tell us what you do. Tell me about your business. Go tell the audience what do you do.
So My Sushi Sensei is a private chef service that teaches people to roll sushi at home. We teach pretty much anywhere and everywhere. As a private chef service, we come to you. We bring all of the supplies, all of the ingredients, set up, break down, the whole 9 yards. All you need to do is come with an open mind and a healthy appetite.
Yeah, and you've created this to be able to come to their home, help people out, and you also do something in that process for people. And it's around, you were talking about, we had a meeting the other day and you mentioned you picked on somebody at the meeting, but it was Jerry you were picking on, by the way.
Yeah.
Hi, Jerry, we're picking on you. And what you do is you help people get over their fear of sushi.
It's actually one of my passions. So I've always been an educator, and my sushi just kind of happened to be the perfect combination of teaching and something that I already loved, and it just came together. And it was actually one of my very first classes. A friend of mine, she was not even remotely interested in sushi, like not at all. She'd come in and she's like, all right, I'll give it a try, but I don't like it. Here's why. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's functional. I can understand that. I that's how I started out.
Right.
And so then we just gave it a try. We're moving through all of the different pieces. She didn't like the first one. We always start off with nigiri, which is just a piece of rice with a presentation piece of fish over the top. Okay. Then we go into traditional rolls, which have the nori on the outside of the seaweed on the outside. Then we do specialty rolls with the rice on the outside. Okay. And she didn't like the first one. She didn't like the second one, but it was the third one. The third one, rice on the outside. And the specialty rolls or Americanized sushi is exactly that. It was made and coined by Americans who didn't appreciate the flavor of nori.
So Caroline, our producer, who's listening to this, her mouth is watering right now. She loves sushi. If she could go out and have sushi every night, she would. No, I'm kidding. She hates sushi. So
it's because she hasn't had my sushi.
She hasn't had your sushi. So I keep telling her, I said, we've got to get together with you and try it because I know you make it fun. I know your classes are cool. And we need to do this sometime and get her involved. It won't be at our house ever, but we'll have to do it somewhere else where we have a party and get her in there. But again, you do it in a way, the presentation, the way you set it up. So if there's anybody out listening right now or watching the show and you really don't like sushi, Jerry, I think I know Isaac has a methodology in his teaching and his classes. Yep. They really get you used to it in a fun way. Because honestly, when you think of raw fish, right? It's like, ooh, right? Why would we eat anything dead, not cooked?
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I love sushi.
The difference is it's a mentality. Some people, when I'm trying to convert someone to the ways of sushi, usually it's one of three things. Usually it's I don't like the thought of eating raw fish, or it's a texture thing. Texture is a huge piece when it comes to food. Yeah. Or there's the flavor of the nori. Those are usually one of the three big reasons.
You keep saying, what is the flavor? But basically, what is it like?
Nori, it's a difficult flavor to describe. It's got umami flavors, which is the savory. Okay. It's got a little bit of oceany flavor to it. It's not like you're drinking seawater though. Okay. Good nori shouldn't be. Okay. There are low quality noris that do have that very, very oceany flavor. But nori should have a very toasted and excellent umami flavor.
And that could be some of the problem too. If someone had a bad experience with bad sushi, like anything we do, right? We're never going to eat at that restaurant again.
Exactly.
And it could even be, focal down to, I'll never eat sushi again because it was just bad. I got bad fish. And that could happen.
Oh, that totally happens all the time.
Yeah. But the point is don't give up, because that was one bad experience. One moment in time doesn't define the experience of sushi. So you have a way of bringing this to someone's home, making it fun. And I think of it really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like the wine parties we used to have, where you'd have a sommelier come in with different wines from different vineyards, different places, and they would tell you about it, and they would serve it, and you would learn all about the origin and the wine itself and things like that. That's really what you're doing, right?
Yeah. And actually, it's funny you bring that up. We're actually actively pursuing wine venues right now to do a partnered sushi and wine pairing class.
Oh, wow.
It's so much fun. We actually just did one with Trevor Treller of Terroir Fine Wines. If you guys haven't been in, it's a must. He's over by the fairgrounds, relatively new business owner, but he does a killer job of teaching to the wines, not just serving wine. He really envelops you in the culture of it and talks about where it's coming from, what flavors you should be tasting.
Yeah.
And if you're not, he helps you discover those different types of wine. I wasn't a white wine fan until I took Trevor's class. And now I'm a huge white wine fan.
And we've had those parties over the years. Caroline and I have at our home with friends and family and business associates. And that was always fun. That was a fun time. And so you're doing the same thing. It's just with sushi.
Yeah. Now we're doing sushi instead of wine.
That's
or
great.
Sometimes sushi and
so
wine.
Tempura, I know that tempura is what? That's a sauce, right? A dipping sauce, or it's
no tempura. Well, you can use tempura as a dipping sauce, but I don't recommend it.
But I mean, it does come in. It's like the brown sauce, isn't that tempura?
It's a light brown sauce. Usually, it'll go and coat any sort of fish, or usually it's shrimp or vegetables. Then they'll be deep fried, and it's that batter that actually
outside crust,
gives it that crunch, gives it that great flavor.
So I like sushi. I'm not a big tempura fan. Caroline, our producer, she loves tempura, and she'll do that. But I don't like tempura because when I was at a sushi place once and I didn't really care for sushi, it's what forced me to go over to the other side, the good side, the what do we call that? The force, the side of the force, or whatever you call it. It's the good side. Forced me to go over to the sushi because we're sitting here having dinner, and one of the waitresses servers brought over, was walking by the table, and she tripped and she spilled a whole big old thing of tempura down my back and my shirt and stuff.
Oh.
And so it ruined my shirt. Of course, it made me go to a place where, okay, I'll never have that ever again. And so I switched over immediately to sushi because the sushi was free at that point in time. So I got to sample it free.
Yeah.
So that was a bad experience.
Silver linings.
Yeah, it was a bad experience. Turned into a good one. So talk about a couple things real quick, and then we're going to jump into mortgages in a minute. In fact, let's jump into mortgage stuff real quick, and then we're going to come back to you because I want to end with you. Okay. So we got a few more minutes on the show. Again, you're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. We've got Isaac Cunnington with My Sushi Sensei here today as our guest on the show, and he does a very unique business model where he does sushi parties at your home. Like we were talking about earlier, the wine parties where you come in and bring a sommelier in and they tell you all about the wines. You bring him in and he brings everything in to show you how to make the sushi. He's there guiding you and helping you in the whole bit, teaching you about it, and you're learning all about it, and you get to eat it. So it's awesome. Yep. And you're bringing in the sake, right?
We do a sake class. So sake is a little bit funky because we, as a private chef service, we can't buy, sell, or serve alcohol, but we can teach to it. So if you had sake there, if you purchase sake ahead of time, I can teach to the different styles of sake.
Okay.
And it's a fun little addition to add to.
So it's an addition. You just have to provide it at the party.
Yeah.
At your gathering. Okay, that's really cool. So let's talk about a couple things. The mortgage side of it, because we said it was mortgage and raw fish. Let's talk about the mortgage real quick. So again, you're listening to Mortgage Matters with Mike Hobbs. I'm a home loan officer with Loan Depot. I've been doing it for 38 years, from real estate to lending to legal and a lot of other things in between. It's really cool. A couple of things. I want to talk about the renovation loans. We talked about that in the past, but you can do VA, FHA, conventional, and investor loans on renovation loans where you can build the price of improving the home, the cost of building a home into the remodeling the home into the price of the home at the time you buy it. We're the number one lender in the country on renovation loans. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and find out there. Buy down, you'll see that I have a little piece of paper. Our producer saw it on there, and astute as she is, and says there's some paper. I can't tell what it is. But this is the buyer's benefits bundle. I'm holding that up. And that's something where you can actually get low interest rates down to the fours right now if you use it in conjunction with, or I should say, have a seller help to buy down the interest rate, pay for closing costs, and you can actually have money left over for down payment assistance. So those are really cool things. The best way to use seller money, or even your money if you have extra, up and above the normal closing costs, to get that rate down is to buy it down permanently, not on a temporary. One of the things we talked about at the beginning before Isaac showed is we were talking about my background and my start in consumer advocacy, and the previous show, the predecessor to this show, Mortgage Madness, was built on helping people. So I still do that. So just this last week, I was able to help someone who was in foreclosure because they'd missed some payments on their loan and they'd misappropriated the funds at the bank, won't name the bank or local bank, but misappropriated the funds coming in, and so that it didn't go credit to her. This is a servicing issue, and it does happen. And she doesn't speak the language. You were using some words a minute ago. I don't even know what they were. Nigari and
Nigiri.
Yeah, there you go. And some other things too. You see, you tried to explain it with another word that I didn't understand either. So it's like, didn't help me at all. But those are the kind of things that happen in our professions where we're experts in these things. We have an expertise in raw fish and sushi, and I have it in mortgages, real estate and everything else. But it doesn't translate to the layperson very easily sometimes. And so I'm here to help guide you through that. If you ever have any difficulty with your servicer, it's one of those things I did at the law firm I started way back, where we were fighting and battling institutions like the very one that I work for against the servicing violations. So again, it was really great to come in and help her fix this problem. I was on the phone for about an hour with servicing. We were able to remedy it, back it up, and remove all the lates and do all the things, because they made an error, a clerical error, and they couldn't communicate that to her, or she just didn't get it. And it worked out really well. So I'm passionate about really solving problems, even in those that are normal transactions where you don't have trouble. It's really cool to figure out how we can structure the loan and structure the transaction to where you save money and we get you into the best financing. So that's really what makes me super happy. I like to do that. So let's go back to you. So talk to me about on sushi. Again, Mike Hobbs. I'm with Mortgage Madness. We're here, Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs, on our YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube and a bunch of other of the platforms, Facebook, you name it, live. You also find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, so you can listen to us there. And again, you won't be able to get the benefit of me wearing this exquisite, what do we call this?
Sushi headband.
Not a sweatband? Could I kind of do aerobics in it?
Yeah. We had one gal swears she was going to run a marathon in it. So.
Okay. Because
I'm still waiting to get some pictures back.
I'm thinking about doing flash dance right here with this thing on right now.
I totally understand.
She's a maniac. Anyway, you can't see that. You won't have the benefit of that, but you can hear us.
Maybe that is the benefit and not.
I think that's good. Yeah. They always said I had a face for radio, so that's probably holds true now. Maybe I should put this over my eyes. Someone should be blinded by this. Maybe it's me. Anyway, so looking at the types of rolls and things you have. So I wrote down dragon roll. Mm-hmm. I love dragon rolls, but that's an Americanized. I heard you say that is an Americanized sushi. Is that what that is? Why is that?
So let me take a step back before I answer that. When you talk about dragon rolls, 90% of rolls, I'd say, aren't standardized throughout the industry. So when you go to a restaurant and ask for a dragon roll in Coeur d'Alene, it might be different from the dragon roll you'd get over in Spokane, or even from a restaurant in Coeur d'Alene to another restaurant in Coeur d'Alene.
Okay.
There isn't a real standardized roll because every sushi restaurant's different. All their rice is different. All their ingredients,
they put them together
toppings.
Differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So when you talk about a dragon roll, you need to be specific, and if that's something that you're looking for, unless you're going to the same restaurant every time, in which case it'll probably be exactly the same.
Right. Same with the rainbow roll, I would imagine, right? Rainbow roll, very pretty, by the way. What's that? It's got all the different fish layered over the top, right?
Yeah. So a rainbow roll is very, more often than not, will be very similar. It'll be a California roll on the inside. California roll is one of the very consistent ones, but still has a wide variety to it. It'll have the very basic ingredients on the inside, but then a rainbow roll will be topped with different ingredients, usually in color variation across the top.
They're very pretty.
Rainbow effect.
They're too pretty to eat most of the time. but I will eat it.
I was gonna say
I will
eat it
I will
every
mow
time.
that down, man. That is good. And the other one is spider roll. That's one of my favorites too.
Yep.
Spider roll. So that is what kind of
It's a soft
spider
shell
is
crab.
it?
Soft shell crab.
What?
It's a soft shell crab, and it will be. They actually deep fry the whole soft shell crab.
It's not a spider.
Not a spider. Not a spider. Spider of the sea, if you will. It's kind of.
I've been thinking it's been a spider all the time. I brag about the fact that I eat spiders, and I've taken that off my resume now. So soft shell crab,
Soft shell crab.
and they deep fry it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
and that's how they get that nice crunch. Because the soft shell crab, it is truly very, very soft.
Right.
And so by deep frying it, actually gives it a little bit more of a crunch. So you get that great flavor of the crab with the crunch of the tempura.
Well, to our listeners out there, again, you're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs, but to our listeners right now, let's see by show of hands, put your hand up if you've ever had a spider roll right now. It's a good number. That's a good number of people that have had spider rolls, but you haven't had a spider roll by this guy right here, Isaac Cunnington. You have not. So My Sushi Sensei, give out your number is there. What's your number? Call it out.
208-699-3822. That's if you want to reach me and talk a bit more about sushi and setting up an event.
Where do they find you online?
You can find us online on Facebook at My Sushi Sensei, Instagram, TikTok, or I think we're actually pulling up a YouTube channel here shortly, which should have a bunch of really cool content.
And you have a website too, right?
We do.
Yeah.
MySushiSensei.com.
Yeah. So you can check it out. Go find Isaac there, get a hold of him, ask him some questions, and talk to him about having that. It's really a fun idea. And we need to do that with you. We've not done yet. We've been talking about that for a little bit. We need to do that. Talk about another one real quick. Sashimi and sushi. Sashimi and sushi. So do you find that most people, and I even ask the audience, is it that your opinion is that most people, when they think of sushi, they think of the sashimi, meaning because that's really just the raw fish, right?
And funny facts, sashimi is not truly sushi. The term sushi means to be sour, and that actually throws all the way back to the original form of sushi, narazushi, where rice paddy workers in ancient China would tuck fish down in beds of rice to preserve the fish, which allowed them to save it for the dry season. But when in that preservation process, the rice would actually be soured. So it was fermented rice and preserved fish that they smashed together that they coined narazushi. So any sushi without rice isn't truly sushi.
It's sashimi.
Sashimi is just cuts of fresh fish, usually presented solo on a plate, or sometimes they'll be served over a bed of rice as chirashi, but it without rice, it's not truly sushi.
So people, I would imagine, have a little more time like if they have a predisposition to think they don't like sushi or they don't want to try it, they're probably more reserved about wanting to try it if it is just sashimi, right? Because it is the raw fish you're looking at. You're looking at that piece of raw fish, which, by the way, I love sashimi. I like that more than the sushi only because it's less filling. The rice fills you up. Yeah. And, rice is not necessarily, white rice, I guess. Which one's got less carbs? Is it white rice or brown rice?
That's an excellent question. I would say brown rice if you're comparing it to sushi rice, because sushi rice is different than regular white rice. Sushi rice is a short grain rice that has what we call sushisu added to it, which is a seasoned rice vinegar that actually imitates that original form of sushi. And that we don't use fermented rice anymore. Now we use sushisu to imitate that original form of sushi.
Sushisu. I'm learning some new vocabulary here, picking up some words. I won't remember these.
That you will.
I won't remember any of these.
Well, that's going to be a problem because there's going to be a quiz.
It's going to stick with sashimi and sushi. That's all I have to know. Rainbow roll, dragon roll, spider roll. That's all I need to know. So again, I think people have a predilection to not like the raw fish, literally the sashimi. But when you put it into with avocado and you mix it with crab and you put in, like a California roll, for example, wouldn't you say that the California roll would probably be your most basic entry? Or tell me what it would be. Is that true? Like an entry, getting someone used to eating sushi, would that be an entry?
Yeah, California rolls are fantastic for for getting people into sushi, for someone who's like, oh, I won't touch sushi at all.
Right.
We
like Caroline, our producer.
We would start her off with something else. We'd get her going. We actually don't do California rolls in my class. Not at all.
What do you got against California, man?
None.
What's that?
Yeah.
I got a lot against.
I was going to say, how long do you have?
I'm from California. I got a lot against California, so it's fine. So, how about an Idaho roll? Do you do an Idaho roll?
I used to work at Fisherman's Market here locally, and we had an Idaho roll.
Can you do an Idaho roll at your class?
Oh yeah. We use salmon, avocado, green onion, and cucumber.
Thank goodness you didn't say potato. You don't have potato in it.
No potato. I'm not that bold.
Okay, and no deer or moose, nothing like that.
Sometimes, I mean, if you've got it, I don't personally bring it. But if you had some deer or moose that you wanted to try, we'd slice it up razor thin, scorch it real nice, throw it right over the top. It'd be great. It'd be great.
That's got to be on your website. You need to put that down as a special roll, moose roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your own moose.
Bring your own moose. That's funny. Hey, we're here with Isaac Cunnington. He's with My Sushi Sensei, and it's been great hanging out with him today. You're listening to him on Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs, and you can find us. You can find more about Isaac if you go. You can listen to this replays. It's taped and recorded everywhere. It's live right now, but you can find it anywhere on Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can also find it on YouTube channel, which is mymortgagemadness.com. On the website, YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on LinkedIn. You can find it everywhere. It posts everywhere. So check it out and get a hold of Isaac. Schedule a party. It's a kick. It's a lot of fun. And it's also great because, again, you can bring someone who really doesn't think, I'm going to use the word doesn't think they like sushi. Perfect. And you will.
I'm batting like 85% on
really?
People who come into my class with that the predisposition of, I don't like sushi.
What happens if they get through the class and they just like put the brakes on and go, I won't touch that. I'm not eating that. What do you do? Do you bring like tempura along just in case? Or a PB&J sandwich or something?
I've never brought a PB&J to a sushi event, but we do bring, so we don't deep fry rolls in classes. It's an absolute nightmare. Getting hot oil in and out of events.
Yeah, not good.
My car's never going to smell the same. We don't do that.
Right, okay.
But we do bring tempura crunchies, which are loose fried tempura batter. That is like almost like glitter that you put on top of a roll. It's fantastic. Gives you the great crunch, great flavor, but you don't have that to deal with that hot oil.
So you can get your sustenance from something if you just literally don't like or say, hey, I'm not doing it.
Come
but again,
on.
that doesn't happen.
You got to give me something. You got to.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen. Right?
All I ask is that if you're coming into my class and you don't like sushi, you come in and you let me know. You tell me why it is that you don't like sushi, and you come in with an open mind, willingness to try.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, I'll give you all your money back.
Okay. Well, that's great. Money back if you won't eat your food.
100% money back guarantee.
It's great. Just like McDonald's does.
Yeah. You heard it here first, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry. There's no reason you shouldn't try it. Or, hey, Caroline, we need to do that. We need sushi. So we'll do that. Hey, real quick, let's finish up on this and we'll go. I just want to say Happy New Year as well. This is our New Year's show. We weren't on for a couple of weeks because Mortgage Madness was down because, well, we had a COVID Christmas at my house. Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. So just before Christmas, we found out we had COVID, the entire family, and we were locked down. We had family coming into town, and they were planning to stay with us. We had to let them know you can come. And they already had the plane tickets, so they're coming, but they couldn't stay with us. So it was a different type of holiday for us. And so I was planning to put the shows on, and that's why you've seen us vapant for the last couple of weeks. But I'm glad to be back. Happy New Year to you. And thank you for coming on today.
It's my pleasure.
Remember, Isaac Cunnington with My Sushi Sensei. You can find him at mysushisensei.com. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him all over the place. Check it out. And if we've provoked you or he has to ask more questions about sushi, I can't say it fast. Maybe you do it. But if he provoked you to want to ask more questions about sushi, give him a call. And if I provoke you to want to ask more questions about mortgage financing as it relates to renovation loans or any other types of loans that we do, the buyer benefits bundle where you can get your interest rate significantly lower than the current market with just planning, please give me a call as well. You can find me there. My information is floating across the screen. It has been, but you can reach me on any of those channels. Just go to the Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. You'll be able to find my contact information. It's right there floating on the screen. Okay, we're going to sign off, and we're going to do this again next week. I will be, if we do it, I may put it on hold. We'll be doing it from Tampa. We're traveling to Tampa to do some cool things out there, Tampa, Florida. So I'll be in Tampa, Florida, and I probably will do a show out there, maybe a little later in the evening, but we'll do it out there where it's a little warmer than it is here in Coeur d'Alene.
Excellent.
All right. Everybody have a great weekend coming up, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.